Congratulations! You've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host.
He's a fucking Chad.
It's Joe Sixpack.
Yeah! What's going on, everybody? Go to allapologiespodcast.com to find links to YouTube, Instagram. Those are really the main ones. Go there, like, comment, subscribe, and issue apologies, demand apologies. And we're still asking everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can grow that community. Andy, it's a jam-packed day. This is our actually, behind the curtain. We're recording our second episode today, leading up to Hackamania. Andy's going to be out there, so we want to have an episode to deliver on time here. So we're doing our second one today. And
I was actually doing the 2K movies with 2K before this. They were talking about the Transformers cartoon with Leonard Nimoy.
Did New Girl show up over there?
No, she's bailing on everyone.
Oh, I'm beginning to suspect that New Girl and Dr. Steve are the same person because they're never in the same room at the same time.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to pose that kind of theory and we're going to talk about Transformers, then we should introduce our guest onto the show. It's from WATB, Christian Bladt here today.
The Transformers animated movie is hands down the only watchable Transformers movie. It's amazing, but also seeing it as a 10-year-old, it was heartbreaking. It was like, wait, no, he's dead too. No, like, everybody dies. Literally everybody, even Megatron and Starscream, all the bad guys die. Everybody dies. Yeah. Who does that to our childhood? Oh yeah, the 80s.
I'm pretty sure my fandom of that show died too, when all that happened. I was like, all right, everybody I know from the show is dead. Why would I keep watching
because Judd Nelson was the voice of Hot Rod / Rodimus Prime. I think that's what we all came back for. You know, he put his fist up and said, "Dear Principal Megatron." Anyway,
everyone always said Andy looked like Judd Nelson in high school because he had the Bender haircut.
Yeah, with nerd glasses. If
Bender and
Ali Sheedy, if Ali Sheedy and Judd Nelson were the same character, that was.
It's also because Joe always put out lit cigarettes on you, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yep, for sure. Yep, that's definitely why. it's in Johnson's underwear.
I suffered at the hands of Joe Sixpack as a child. Any serious injury I incurred was usually a result of Joe.
Well, I'll tell you, I have an older brother. He's 5 years older than me. And we were down at the Jersey Shore for a vacation, and he flipped me over, dislocated my shoulder. So I was unable to go see Return of the Jedi opening night, which is back in the age when you didn't see movies like right when they first woke up, when they first came out. I was at urgent care instead, and I saw it 3 days later for some reason.
It was all spoiled.
I only just remembered that you're not too far off that I put lit cigarettes out on Andy. I did stab him in the neck with a lit sparkler as a child. Not on purpose. It was just, I was whimsically waving it around and I just happened to turn and jam it right into his neck. So, pretty close.
I did lock our back door once and keeping my brother outside. So he pounded the glass and it shattered everywhere. And I still have a scar right here. You won't be able to see it in this light, but so from the shard of glass that flew right in there. So it's great.
Take your shirt off.
No, that's behind the paywall, not for these episodes.
This is the Shuli network.
That's the premium content.
Yeah.
And I have to put pasties over my nips. I don't want you to get demonetized.
Okay. All right. Well,
not to one up. The most traumatic one was when our father was putting new fishing line on all the fishing rods and was tying a spoon with fishing hooks onto the end of a redone fishing rod. And he walks out of the room, and 4-year-old Joe and Andy look at it and go, "Let's play fisherman. Andy, you be the fish." And I put the lure in my mouth, and Joe hooked the big one that day. I got a fishing hook straight through my lip.
What the fuck? I don't remember that. It wasn't
You
my
were
lip.
getting-
So
I mean, go figure that the one who ended up with a fish hook in his lip is the one who actually remembers it happening, whereas the other one's like, huh? It doesn't.
yeah, like why didn't we mount him to the fucking over the fireplace?
Yeah, why did you turn him into a big mouth Billy Bass?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was almost a tusk of myself. All right, but today we have what we call on this show, Christian. You do a show about broadcasting and
I do.
news and the media over on WATB. We're in the middle of jumping ship on StreamYard, so they were trying to charge me $450 for the year, and I canceled my card so that they couldn't get my money. And then I was just like, oh shit, I needed one more week of StreamYard. So now I'm logged in on a dummy account that doesn't have my bumper, which is when we were covering Marion Barry, the local news station that was catching us up on that had misspelled the word update. So that an UDPate was being made about Marion Barry, and we stole the bumper. So whenever we have reoccurring characters, I like to give people an UDPate about what's going on with them. And one of those characters today is Billy McFarland. Billy McFarland, people might remember as the guy that tried to put together Fyre Festival and failed miserably. It's one of the biggest fiascos in modern memory, I would say. And he went to jail for it. So this is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Billy said,
I already know today's about to be so bad on the internet.
Yeah. But just as a little table setting, let's catch up with what that was all about.
In 2017, a $100 million class action lawsuit on behalf of attendees and festival workers was filed against McFarland. It has since been settled. McFarland was charged with defrauding investors out of $27 million. He ultimately pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud in 2018, and he served nearly 4 of his 6-year sentence in federal prison.
Right. So, Christian, you remember this, right?
Oh, I remember it well. You talk about what a failure Fyre Fest was. For those of us who watched both documentaries, it was a huge success, tremendous success. By the way, only in watching this right now did I realize that Billy McFarland looks exactly like the Ben Affleck meme. No, he doesn't look like Ben Affleck, but the one where he's like outside, like just having a cigarette. Like, that's Billy McFarland. And and this was not his first scam. He had like a Ticketmaster scheme. He had a credit card, like a membership club. He had all this stuff, and then somehow all those failures were like, yeah, well, let's let this guy have a festival. So and I can't pick which documentary I liked better, the Netflix or the Hulu, because there were great things about both of them.
Whichever one Andy King said he was going to blow the guy for the water. That's the better documentary.
That's what I was going to say, is like that makes that one good. I think that's the one without Billy. And yet, because that guy says that he was going to blow a guy for a case of water, I'm like, that one's probably better.
It was a pallet of water, Christian.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great point.
It wasn't a
mini bottle of water.
It was not going to be a cheap blowjob. That was thousands.
No, it was the big bottle of Evian. Oh, all right.
Also, that is so silly. Like, he's kind of known for that now or whatever, but also telling stories about shit that never happened. Oh, I was ready to do it. Well, I was ready to do it too. So now what? Neither of us did it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, customs agent, that bottle of water is so big. You think we could do each other a favor?
Hang on, I'm writing down the time code for that so I can send it to Cardiff. I think he might do something with that image.
I'm sure he will. So and then I remember we did a full episode about Billy, and he was getting interviewed by Michael Strahan, talking about a thing called Pirate that he wanted to do, which sounded like high-end geocaching or something like that, and that never saw the light of day. And that, I think he was still in jail when he was coming up with that. And all right, cut to last year, he emerges and starts telling everybody that he's going to do Fyre Festival 2. And what might that entail?
If you and your friends want to ATV through the jungle with the Super Bowl champion,
Yes.
you want to swim with the sharks with the pop star,
Yes.
or if you want to learn MMA in the beach with the UFC champion, DM me and I will personally help you and your friends get set up.
Wow. Okay. Well, that sounds really cool, Billy. You know, anybody by name? Is there anybody that you want to? Because I think the last time we did an update with him, he was pontificating about what could possibly happen. Like,
Right.
oh, wouldn't it be cool if you got to shoot hoops with Jay-Z or go out go to lunch with Steve Martin, or
If you want to go to outer
can
space
dream
with
it, you
Katy
can do it.
Perry.
Yeah. And look, it would have been cool if I'd fingered Jessica Alba in 2002 or yesterday. Still also very cool. But just because it would be cool. I've swam with sharks, by the way. It is a lot of fun. Because until you think about like, oh, how fast are they? And how fast is the guy who lowered us down in this cage?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The math doesn't add up. This isn't.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spoil it if you have the reveal in the clip. But there was one confirmed talent for Fyre Fest 2, and I believe he is a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, I don't have the clip, so we can talk about it.
Okay, so it was Antonio Brown, which
I was going to say, is it Theo Von's best friend?
But and also, by the way, coaches, and I don't even mean head coaches. Coaches are also Super Bowl champions. You know, you get the ring if you're the defensive coordinator. You know,
Yeah.
So we'd be like,
what? Slick Rick on the Buffalo Bills. If they win.
Yeah. All right. So there are certain people. I remember when they had Billy McFarland on Full Send or the Nelk Boys or wherever the fuck that show is, and those idiots, Steiny and those morons were just like, oh, if there's a Fyre Fest 2, we're going just for the bit, shit like that. So there are a bunch of people that this is on their radar, and I think this is The Guardian doing a deep dive about how far you can get in the ticket buying process when you try and get tickets to Fyre Festival 2.
Let's try and buy a ticket for Fyre Festival 2. The Prometheus package gets you 4 days, fight pit, and a curated itinerary of fire experiences. For $1.1 million, I could live like the gods of fire. $25,000 gets me to embrace the unknown alongside some of the most fascinating people in the world. I don't know that I want to do that for $25,000. Well, $1,400 looks like the cheapest. They have boat docking, so if I decide to go buy a yacht, I'll know where to park. The order went through, but we've received no information, and there's no customer service number to call, only an email address.
By the way, I noted. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say you could do space docking with Katy Perry for $50,000.
I was thinking this earlier when we heard his voice. He sounds like AI Phil Hartman, like not Phil Hartman, but kind of like, if you were able to approximate it. But he's doing some great shtick there. Like, well, I guess I don't want to spend $25,000. He sounds like Phil Hartman, but he looks like Steve from the first 5 seasons of Married with Children. You know, Marcy's first husband. Before the great Ted McGinley came in and saved the show. But no, I think what I know is that there were no refunds. So it's like you want to roll the dice and buy a $1,400 ticket. You even right now you're not getting it back. You hit purchase. Yeah, and Billy's got that money.
You're right. I'm sure his producer was thrilled with it as a bit. I'm gonna buy a $1,400 Fyre Fest 2 ticket.
Yeah. We'll never get this back. I'm looking now. Billy McFarland is on Cameo. It is $69 for Billy.
Fuck yeah,
hilarious.
If you want to send him a message, it's $3.
Yeah, I should request a greeting for Hackamania 2.
Yeah, but that's where he belongs, really. I don't know what else you would do with a Billy McFarland other than make him a lol cow on the internet. But
Yeah. So
I-
they're looking into, well, maybe they don't have the talent locked down. Maybe they at least know where it's going to be.
The issues this time around appear to be all about location. Originally, the weekend festival was billed for May 30th to June 2nd
100% sounds like Troy McClure. Now that I'm not seeing the guy.
at Isla Mujeres, Mexico, near Cancun. Only problem, the town's tourist board denied any knowledge of the festival, telling The Guardian, for us, this is an event that does not exist.
No, money down. Yeah. So they
You
don't
may
even-
you may remember me from such safety films as Alice's Adventures Through the Windshield Glass and the Decapitation of Larry Leadfoot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anytime I can find an excuse to use those, I do. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You might remember me from such concert fiascos as Fyre Fest 1 and Woodstock 99.
Another great documentary. Dueling
Yeah.
documentaries on Woodstock 99.
It really makes you realize how shitty the millennium was. All right. So people are saying there's no acts, there's no location, this isn't real. What say you, Billy McFarland?
McFarland wrote, Fyre has been working directly with the government of Playa del Carmen and their officials since March 5th, 2025 to ensure a safe and successful event. All media reports suggesting our team has not been working with the government of PDC are simply inaccurate and based on misinformation.
PDC, that could mean anything.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. Didn't we go to didn't a
Yeah.
cruise ship stop at Playa del Carmen? It's not.
I don't. It didn't stop there specifically, but we ended up going on a day pass there. I think.
Yeah, it's not like a wonderful exclusive spot that I would be glad I spent $1,400 to
Where
$25,000 on.
Yeah, it's where every Carnival cruise stops or whatever. It's not exclusive.
Yeah, it's like your deluxe chalet in the Poconos. You're like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
Billy."
A
I'm trying to-
chalet.
I'm trying to ride a jet ski with Shabuzi, and there's just a family of 4 eating ice cream right next to it. That's not exclusive.
It's just like the glaring things missing from this are the involvement of Fuck Jerry, right? Which was what made that happen in any way, shape, or form. And no Ja Rule. There's no celebrity attachment to it. You need to, at least those two pieces to con social media and stupid 20-something content creators. If you don't have that, you don't have a Fyre Fest.
Yeah, I feel like that was the whole problem with this. And it's insane that he doesn't realize it, that he has zero credibility and nobody wants to hitch their wagon to this horse because of his reputation. So even trying
I'll tell you
is
what.
insane.
What he's missing completely, and this is the climate for it, and him specifically, is his own shitcoin. Like if this was attached to some type of shitcoin where people could invest in it and then rug pull it, like he'd be fucking making money hand over fist probably. If you got Hawk Tua involved in this somehow.
Like why he didn't do a Fyre coin, like
Right.
not now, but like certainly a year, maybe even 2 years ago. Like that was definitely the time to do the Fyre coin.
Yeah.
But I think that he's just defiant that that all of the facts that we were presented with aren't true. It's like, and then I don't know if you're going to show it, but I had heard, I'd seen a video where he's like, all right, well, we've got the update. And the update doesn't give you the lineup. The update is that it's basically what he said in the clip he showed. It's like, sorry, we've got an update. We're going to have a Super Bowl champion. We're going to have a UFC fight. So he never names anybody at any point in the process. It was like, that was a big reveal for those of us who, of course, are big Billy McFarland fans and follow him on social media.
Yeah.
It's
having many conversations is
the update is he had another idea. It's just like, hey man, what if you were on an island and there was a boat that brought you pizza like at your house? When you're just like, You just
I-
had an idea that you want to have a UFC guy show up to Fyre Fest. It's not an update. That's just
Wait, I want to hear more about this pizza boat, Andy.
Pizza
This
boat?
is a pretty good idea, actually.
Have your people call my people
All right,
if you want to
great.
hear more about Pizza Boat. Okay,
for the low investment of
yeah. So that clip makes you think about Billy McFarland.
Fucking guy.
And now this next clip is going to make you think this same
Fucking guy.
about these guys who have spent nothing and lost everything, according to them.
So far, it has been a bumpy ride. And like Asa, we're left wondering what's in store.
If Billy can really follow through
These guys are influencers that supposedly got free tickets to Fyre Fest 2 and are learning that it just got canceled.
on everything he promised, then it would truly be like an amazing experience.
If we were promised these things and it doesn't happen, that's robbery.
Caitlin Clark is going to skydive in and slam dunk a basketball. What are you expecting to happen, sir?
Guys, I'm going to take you both on a fun weekend to Sydney, Australia next month, and we're going to do nothing but 5-course dinners, and that's a promise from Trucker Andy to you guys.
Vegas
Thank you for doing this podcast. So,
and we can pay for this with Trucker Andy coin. So,
right? Yeah.
Make sure you get that.
What was that?
Make sure you go tell
timeshare?
everybody. Make sure you tell everybody that we're doing this, and then when I don't follow through on it, say that I robbed you.
Yeah. What was the timeshare thing that Stuttering John and
Tahiti Village?
Tahiti Village.
Tahiti Village, yeah.
This is a Tahiti Village thing.
Funny you mentioned that because obviously Andy and I had an amazing time at Hackamania. It was so much fun, so many stories we can't even tell. In the past, when we went, I stayed at a sister property for Tahiti Village because
you had to sit through the timeshare.
it was $92 a night, and I was like, I can't beat that. So yeah,
was it good?
Yeah, I've stayed there. Yeah, I've stayed there before. Actually, my dad had a timeshare there, so I know it. Yeah. But it's no Tahiti Village.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this last clip is what we're going to find out the latest from Billy about where Fyre Fest 2 stands.
Yeah. Where is it, Billy?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not hearing.
You got to unmute it on the video, like at the bottom right corner.
The actual video is muted on.
Instagram sucks at sharing the shit.
Oh, you're not hearing it?
No.
Is it unmuted? Is it unmuted on the video?
No, it was. I was hearing it, but
interesting. Well, it's the little speaker thing is right there on the video. So
yeah.
Not hearing that though, right?
Nope,
we're not hearing it.
You're not sharing it the right way.
It's the way. Yeah, it's the way I'm sharing it. Let's see.
Is it? Do you have it open in an Edge tab? Like if you share the tab?
Yeah. I mean that's how I have it open, but I'm sharing my screen over there. Hang on.
Well, if anybody wants to know why I record all the videos on Grifts broadcasters and don't rely on social media, it's not so much because of what's happening to Andy right now. It's because of the amount of times, and like this will happen to Carl and Who Are These Socials. They'll go and be like, "Oh no, that TikTok I was just watching this morning is gone now."
Yeah,
so I've gotten burned by that a couple times. So now I'm like, I record everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to record.
Well, Andy, go ahead and see if you can pull this up or whatever. I'll explain it. There it is. Now it is. Now we hear it.
Yeah. Okay, I just had to share it the other way. This is a pro show over here.
Than me, and I'm holding Fyre back. So if I'm not in charge and I pass the reins off to somebody else, I think the brand can go and flourish. And unfortunately, I'm holding it back at this point.
Well, so you think you are holding it back? Is it because your name's attached to it?
I think my name is attached to it, and the combination of Fyre and Billy just creates such a massive media wave right now that it just scares a lot of people off. And privately, they're very supportive. They're giving us everything we need to make Fyre Festival 2 happen. And then once it goes public, people just get scared.
Yeah.
So I think that if a bigger company who has the infrastructure to handle like this media wave can run with Fyre Festival, the vision could be executed. And I want Fyre to succeed more than I want to succeed. So we got to do what's best for the brand. So
I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit.
Like, who gives a fuck about like it could just be any festival. It doesn't have to be Fyre Festival. Make any festival then. Like, I don't understand that. If it's not Billy McFarland and Fyre Festival, then it's nothing. It could be anything else.
Yeah, but also, like, as we were kind of going through that ABC News piece, they, when he had his proof, he's like, yeah, so we filed these permits on March 5th or whatever it was. But the festival was supposed to happen like May 29th, 30th, and June 1st. So it was like maybe a little bit more than 2 months away. And we still knew that Antonio Brown was going to be there and nothing else. And he's like, no, you're paying for an experience. Well, we saw the documentary. We get what the experience is. Give us something, I mean, who can you give us Smash Mouth without the lead singer because he passed away? R.I.P. R.I.P. to a real one, by the way.
Yeah.
Just put something on there, Mark McGrath will say yes. Okay. You just have to, just promise him that there might be money, I think it
right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So that Fyre Festival is dead. The Fyre just couldn't handle all of the Billy. Like he's a success arsonist. He just can't. You pour too much Billy McFarland on the Fyre, and
yet at the same time, I'm hearing that everyone who went to Fyre Fest too got bed bugged. So it's probably best for everybody who didn't buy tickets.
Yeah.
I was just remembering like Mr. Beast did that Beast Games on Amazon, right? And they were giving away a private island to it. And at one point, did you watch it, Christian?
No, I just heard about it. I didn't.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that happens in it, and it's just inexplicable. This is why it's just like, oh, Antonio Brown's the only one associated with it. They're giving away the private island. They have these people running around trying to win this island and shit. And meanwhile, they just have Lil Yachty there for no reason, like essentially just laughing at everyone who didn't win the island. It's just like, why is Lil Yachty here to rub it in my face that I didn't win the fucking island? It's just like, that just seems like Antonio Brown's role for competing or being at Fyre Festival for no reason, but it seems the same.
Yeah, and I think we all should have known that there was trouble when Ja Rule was like, "Nah, this is too bad even for me. Like, I gotta walk away from this."
Yeah, my credibility would be shot.
Ja Rule was like, "I'm gonna go see what Diddy and Jay-Z are up to. Yeah. Really can't be associated with this."
Yeah.
Now the next debate is.
I'm so excited.
Another walking disaster. George Santos just got sentenced to something like 7.5 years in prison. Yeah. Are you upset about that, Guy Tang?
Yeah.
If you guys, I think this was our 3rd episode we ever did, Christian.
Oh wow.
This was in the news happening in real time. That's how, I mean, what was that? 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, that's about right.
So when this started popping off, we were covering it then. And I thought this was going to be what ended up becoming like Diddy and Neil Gaiman. I thought this was going to be far more ongoing, but I guess because it's politics, people brush it under the rug. So you forget about all the sleaziness until the next time it happens, and then they quickly walk past that and do an internal investigation that goes nowhere until the next one happens again. And that's why this one is so interesting, is because somebody's actually being charged with something.
Well, but also kind of maybe to counter that, he was functioning as an elected official and voting on shit in Congress while this all, like, this is why I'm like, hey, I don't know everything about politics or whatever, but it's even more damaging to me to be like, okay, here we are now 2 years later when they all knew like it was fraudulent and criminal at the time. Meanwhile, he's there like influencing votes like in Washington. And now it's just like, oh yeah, but he's also going to jail now, but we'll use his vote, like he'll just do whatever we tell him in Congress, like in the meantime, like we could have been covering that in a way, like for you to be like, well, these were sporadic, it didn't happen. No, he was actively participating in Washington for a period of time. It was crazy.
Yeah, but mostly he was on Cameo, and Jimmy Kimmel bought a bunch of cameos from him, and then he tried to say that they were for professional use. He had a tremendous appearance on Jim Norton's podcast. I mean, that was like 2 months ago, maybe. It wasn't that long ago. And so it seemed to me like, okay, well, he's really done some terrible things. He's a bad guy, but he's gonna get away with all of it, right? And apparently not. That was surprising. That's really the only thing surprising here. Is that he did get sentenced and he is going to go to jail. And by the way, that's how much of a fuck up this guy was, is that Republicans are in power of everything. And they're still like, oh yeah, but not George Santos. We're not going to step out and help that guy. But I'm sure he's like Tiger King, waiting for the pardon and just hoping that he gets it. He's like, all right, well, I'll get one though, right, guys? Anybody?
Yeah,
that's interesting you say that. But before we get to that, let's revisit some of the George Santos greatest
hits.
Moments after learning he would serve 87 months in prison, ex-Congressman George Santos was met by some of the people he defrauded.
Kill my dog, Anthony!
New Jersey veteran Rich Osthoff said Santos stole money he raised for his dying service dog, Sapphire.
My dog died because of his deceit and deception.
That's hilarious with the dog, though. It's just like, this is all George. My dog died, and it's George Santos.
I'm sorry. I need an explanation on how, okay, so you save money for your dog. So did George Santos break in and steal your piggy bank? Like, how does it happen? How did he steal your money if it was earmarked to save your dog? I need the answers, Andy.
Well, let's see if we can get any more answer. Oh, what the fuck is it now? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Sentencing Friday in Central Islip, the federal judge said, "Where is your remorse? It's always someone else's fault." This came after, through tears, Santos apologized and said he betrayed his constituents' trust, adding, "I cannot rewrite the past, but I can control the road ahead." He pleaded guilty last summer to federal wire fraud and aggravated identity theft.
Fuck all that.
And on top of all that, wasn't he was claiming to be Jewish? He was claiming to have gone to school for, shit that he didn't study. He was a complete fraud, which I really think is why no one's sticking their neck out for him, right? Like, because
and then the where he did this, where he did it was the problem. Like being on Long Island and everything, and saying he was Jewish. It was just like you fucked with the wrong community, really, is why he is now serving time, basically. Like, you might have been able to get away with this in like fucking Nebraska or someplace, like just lying about your whole thing. But the center of power there, like, this was no slouch of a community that he defrauded. Like,
there are districts in New York State you could have done this. Within a few mile radius, a few hour
Rochester,
radius.
You could have done this.
I mean, the only person who would have been offended is Kaylee, because as far as that, she's the only Jew there, right? That's
I'm pretty sure. That's true. Yeah. But that he embarrassed, his constituents, who were powerful people. Is his biggest fuck up.
Well, and people are like, "Oh, every politician lies." Yeah, but the rest of them are better at it. His explanation for not being Jewish is literally a John Lovitz joke from his stand-up act, because I've seen it. He's like, "There's a rumor out there that I am Jewish." Damn it, I fucked it up. "There's a rumor out there that I am a Jew. That is not true. I'm Jewish." And that is, he's like, "Well, I said I was Jewish." And that's why, that had to be why Lovitz played him on SNL, as the liar character, Tommy Flanagan. He just wasn't good at it, I mean, I don't know, as much as obviously, there's my Opie Hughes hot take. They're all pretty terrible. They all lie, but they're all better at it. And honestly, it's like it's impressive the people who are good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but blatantly with his hand out too.
Yeah.
Right. Like
That was the whole-
documented.
Everybody's problem with him was he was just going through the whatever buffet line saying, hey, we should get together and grease the wheels on this deal in front of, and whoever he's talking to is like, could you not say that in front of my boss? Let's keep this offline. And he's walking, he's just going, this is how it is, right? Wink, wink, wink. Yeah, you're on camera, George.
Yeah.
So he just was so flagrant about it.
Saying the quiet part out loud.
Yes. And that's why people are just baffled by how he could even get elected, really.
Yeah,
too gay to function.
He reminds me of the recently pardoned Rod Blagojevich, who he tried to sell Obama's seat when his Senate seat when he became president. But apparently, that's what the notes tell me.
Was he governor of Illinois?
So Rod Blagojevich was the governor, but it's the same example. How you can be a corrupt politician in Illinois and actually get arrested for it. You're just not good at it.
Yeah.
Because, out of all the places,
you're
Illinois,
the land of Al Capone, for God's sake.
Right, exactly.
They have a high level of tolerance for it.
I've been to Chicago twice in my life, and I'm able to vote there for some reason. I don't know how it happened, but I get a ballot every year, so I fill it out.
You mailed something at the post office.
I think that might be what it was.
Yeah.
I got my Cubs tickets in the mail, and I'm like, all right, sure, I guess.
And that's how Biden stole the election, right? Again.
From me. Yeah, I helped him.
Yeah. So in clip 3, this is more, you might remember George Santos. We still even gotten to the sentencing and like the fiasco, but this is just his.
Well, it's too much fun to recap the George Santos story.
Yes, that's more of this.
Lies turned him into a national joke. Wall Street financier, a college volleyball star. He had relatives who survived the Holocaust and 9/11. All false. Add to that, collecting unemployment insurance while working, bilking donors, stealing the identities of nearly a dozen people, and lying to Congress. The New York Republican was in office less than a year. The day before he was expelled from Congress, he told us,
"This immense amount of peace has literally entered my being."
I don't know what that means.
I believe a piece
like it.
entered him. I do believe that part.
And it was immense. Joe.
Yeah, and it was an immense piece entered George. Yeah, for sure.
Enough about your personal life, George. This now fast forward to the sentencing. George has just learned that he's going to be spending more than 7 years in jail, and he's at loose ends. Everybody wants to hear his reaction about the sentencing and how the judge handled it. He's doing a phone interview and he's going to give everybody a piece of his mind here.
I've never, since the moment I had the sombering realization I was taking responsibility for my actions, never in a moment did I waver on being remorseful or repentant. Now, the one thing I wasn't counting for was that this would become a political sentencing. 7 years, 2 months and a half is a very long time. I genuinely thought that the judge would be fair and seek something reasonable. I renew my statements that pedophiles and sex traffickers can get shorter sentences than me being a first-time offender.
It's always good to mention pedophiles when you're trying to appeal to people.
In the same sentence as yourself.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It's such a politician statement too. It's just like when I realized I was taking responsibility, or I didn't even understand what he was fucking saying right at the beginning of that. It was such a word salad of nonsense, like double talk shit. I didn't even. I couldn't even understand why I was responsible for my actions or what is he talking about? He's such a dipshit.
Yeah. And I guess my question is, what is the real damage that George Santos has done to the public, other than being fraudulent? You know, I understand that, trying impersonating a public official. He seems pretty harmless, honestly. Like once you know
I would
that
need
he's a
to know more
liar.
about him stealing identities and, you know, like what did he do? I mean, so this guy who says you stole my money to save my dog. So I don't know, was he hanging out at Planet Fitness and taking credit cards like a Tampa-based comedian? I mean, I don't know what he was doing, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's that stuff, right? It's not what he did as a politician. Or correct me if I'm wrong. That's
No,
my
you're right.
understanding. Yeah.
He was off like gallivanting around fucking Punta Cana, on some gay OnlyFans adventure on his constituents' dollar, basically. Like he defrauded that community is really where it lies. So to your point, in a way, depending on how you feel about people, is just like, okay, you stole a bunch of rich people's money. There's definitely people who, like, say, got worked over by some Ponzi scheme, Bernie Madoff style, where their lives were ruined by this. These people willingly gave their money to him. So in a way, yeah, does the punishment fit the crime? Whatever. He's going to some white collar prison. He'll be out in 3 years. This is the real bet. How much time will he actually serve? That's the real fucking question at this. But, this is all just headline bullshit at this point.
Right. Cut to time served, and he doesn't do any time.
Exactly.
But this is more of the phone interview. I can't remember what it's regarding, but I titled it "Pardon Me." Oh, it's
I was gonna say, I think I know what this is about.
Where the pardon goes. I don't know how to do it, where to start, but I'm going to start making those phone calls.
So prior to today, you wanted to give it, a fair shake. You trusted the process, and now after seeing what happened, you're going to pursue the possibility of a pardon. Is that right?
Commutation, pardon, whatever, clemency. I don't know how this works, but yes.
Whatever's on the menu, I'm going to apply for it.
January 6th, whatever, whoever I have to get in the league with.
Yeah, right. Just tell me what hat I need to wear and where I need to stand. And
if Marjorie Taylor Greene could just tell me who to vote for, we could just sweep this under the rug, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And well, he's guilty of so many other things. The one thing that he's not guilty of is exercising his First Amendment rights. Like anybody fucking gives a shit about this.
Well, he's also guilty of not exercising.
Yeah. Right. The fucking sweater combo with the blazer is really not working for him.
Saying I'm not remorseful or regretful? Is that accurate?
Yes. Hang on.
So that seems accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not repenting. I'm not remorseful or regretful of exercising my First Amendment rights. I will never be remorseful of my First Amendment rights. And the prosecution's overzealous 87 months.
About other things, are you going to be remorseful for those, or?
I'm sorry you feel that way. Is what he's
believing it's overkill, and that's why I'm going to seek recourse elsewhere. I can't appeal because I entered into a plea deal with Merrick Garland.
Way to go, dipshit!
In 2024.
How'd that work out for you?
Man of my word.
Oh, you're a man of your word now. Okay, great.
But I think that the process today was lopsided and heavy-handed.
Yeah. When you go, I did it. The judge throws the book at you. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word.
I was gonna say he's a man of his word, though. Yeah, so that's the important thing.
Yep,
unbelievable.
He is hilarious. The last time we covered him was just some guy on the street on Instagram throwing a milkshake like right down the front of him, like he's walking through Times Square, and somebody just throws an iced coffee all over him or whatever. It was hilarious.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately something that hits close to home for Andy, because Tukey did that at Hackamania. He really blindsided him, but he had a McDonald's milkshake at Hackamania too. It was great. I mean, I know you don't want to talk about it, Andy, but we all remember, those of us who were there.
Yes. And okay. So now this is just the media circus of him emerging from the sentencing. They're just trying to push their way through the crowd. And there's this idiot that I don't know if it's his uncle. Like it kind of looks like an older version of George. Some guy that's kind of clearing the path of the press, and he's being real, like assertive with people that are trying to take a million pictures of George Santos at his lowest point. And then just listen to this one guy, and he's going to be on the right side of the screen, just barking orders at the media, and just kind of listen to him at the end. It's just, what the fuck is this guy?
Back up, everybody! Back up!
How do you feel? This is George. How you feel? How are you? George, after 2 years, do you have anything on this? Come on, guys. Somebody else. Are you worried? Do you feel confident? Guys, back up, please. Let him walk, sir. Back up. George. Back up, come on. Give him a little respect. Give him a little respect.
A little respect.
What?
It's a real cutting edge reference, but I'm glad that his body man is the ghost of Vic Tayback, aka Mel, the cook on Alice. That's who he's got. Watch out, everybody! Come on, move along.
I want how that clip started. That back up. I want that as a drop.
Oh yeah. He's losing his patience with the fake news, and this is just more of that guy saying
I love that guy. I hadn't seen him before, so I want to know. I want to know everything about this guy.
Let me give you a little bit more,
please.
Back up. Back up. Come on, back up. Back up. You feel comfortable?
It's like Mel Torme.
You got your pictures. You got your pictures. You got your pictures. Back up.
You're out of line.
He looks like Mel Torme, Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to pause it because this is where he starts handing down life lessons to people that don't deserve a George Santos picture.
You're out of line.
You're out of line.
All right, out of the way.
You're disgraceful.
You're out of line. You're out of line. You're disgraceful. This whole goddamn courtroom is out of line.
Yeah. Where do you get off? Who are you defending? Who is this man?
Yeah,
I have to assume they're related in some, or he is a hired security firm CEO. This is his highest profile client, and he's got to wear his logo on camera while he's escorting George Santos. That's the only reason I could think this guy would be so.
I have a very
about everything.
a very unpopular take, Christian, that Michael Vick was taking the fall for a lot of his friends, and that Michael Vick is not as bad of a guy as the media made him out to be. Okay, that's my own personal take on this.
I mean, the only people I've ever heard say that are Eagles fans from when he had the comeback, and that wasn't that bad.
But what my point being though, Michael Vick is somebody where you can be like, there's some talent in carte blanche there, where defending him, isn't necessarily the worst thing you could possibly do. I don't understand any reason that you would go to bat for George Santos. Like, it's not like he has power or influence or talent that will get you further down the line by standing up for him.
No, with Michael Vick, obviously, who ran a dogfighting ring? Is it anybody in any kind of organized crime? Because if so, he's like, oh, well, the only thing I can do is say it was all me. There's something to be said for that. But for George Santos, I'm not quite sure why you're like, he's not such a bad guy,
So sucks out loud, and everybody knows it, including Matan, who is finding a lot of fandom and trolling people. Are you aware of Matan, Christian?
Yeah, he's similar to somebody else whose name eludes me. Right? He's one of these. I mean, he's
Ali G.
Yeah, right. That's a great way to compare him. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's my understanding is he's like a figure like that, but
Mhm.
not as good as Ali G because
Mhm.
nothing's as good as Ali G.
Yeah. And
Talking to my main man, Buzz Lightyear. Nobody else has that in them. Yeah.
he's more of like 2 steps above Stuttering John.
Oh, those are two big steps.
How
now.
dare you talk about Matan this way?
Well, if we're gonna compare Ali G to like man on the street interview trolling,
He's like
Stuttering
he's
John,
more like Stuttering Vic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's more like Clearwater Chet. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa, now that's crazy. You take
Them
that back.
fighting
You don't
words.
mean that.
I don't mean that. But let's so Matan happens to be in the same town as George Santos, who has also started his own podcast / YouTube channel at the convenient time of just before going to jail. But they are going to do each other's shows, and I don't think George knew what he was getting himself into when he agreed to go on Matan's show first. So this clip is from George's appearance on Matan's show. Let's see if this works because it's Instagram again.
What I'm asking
You absolute terms, right? You said surely.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
What is the benefit of starting a podcast and doing these interviews when you will surely be going to prison next week
Oh, I'm going to prison next week.
or the following weeks?
I'm going to prison in the following 2 weeks.
Why are you misrepresenting what I'm asking you?
Absolute terms, right? You said surely.
Yeah, I'm 100%
surely is
sure.
Okay.
All right. You could hear it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
The
Jesus.
explosion noise was really loud, but the rest of it.
Yeah,
was-
whatever that is, it's loud. Your clips
Yeah.
are playing loud.
Well, it's just that one. Oh, all of them? Or
Better
just that
loud
one?
than quiet, but
the first part of that clip wasn't that loud, but the was really loud. Yeah.
So
Um,
that's a whole episode. I think I need to find and watch that episode where Matan is just sandbagging George Santos. But what happens next is George says, well, I did your show. Now you're going to come do my show, right? And Matan's like, yeah, sure. But now George thinks that because he's been slighted on Matan's show,
Yeah.
it's his turn to get
the
his
worm
revenge.
has turned.
Yeah, on Matan. So what we have here is you
This
think
says you're not really Israeli.
yeah.
I'm Israeli-ish.
But it seems like George's producers hate George as much as everyone else because they kind of knew that Matan was just a real live troll and said, yeah, we're going to have him on anyway, knowing that he was just going to fuck with George on his own show the whole time because this clip, I think they just flat out put up a banner saying, yeah, this is just to fuck with George.
George and Naja think this is going to be a normal episode. It's not. The team booked Matan just to F with George.
So I'm this kid, cringy.
Yeah.
I find it cringe. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I find
Oh,
it
look,
cringe,
he's
but-
totally cringe, but cringe sells. He has 1.2 million followers on
Where?
TikTok. He has a ton of views on YouTube, which is the holy grail of like this stuff. So if you're making it on YouTube, that means you're doing something right.
I thought that was Simone Biles with him at first.
All Simone.
I'm like, she's hitched her wagon to the wrong guy.
Oh yeah, she doesn't seem to know much of anything that's happening, so I assume she just knows the name. But the first thing Matan does when he goes on there is accuse her of being a man. He's like, you're a trans person, right? And that's the next 35 minutes of the show. Her being
She
trans
wishes she looked as good as Frenchie Hanna. All right.
Your best friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are. She is in my DMs. It's true.
Yeah.
Although I did have to give her $150, so there's that.
For the authentic experiences like never before.
Yeah, well, yeah. Honestly, it was a better investment than Fyre too. Getting a
100%.
personalized video from Frenchie Hanna. Yeah,
It may be the best investment you ever made.
yeah.
Agreed. And I clipped this whole show. I clipped so many fucking clips from this. Every moment of it is a cringe train wreck. Everything from George being bad at being a host, oftentimes sitting there not knowing how to handle Matan actively trying to do a bad show where he asks for a drink with ice and then he just starts eating ice on mic to ruin the show. Continues to call the black woman a trans man, criticizing the set, walking like he's got these hangers on that just float in and out of the shot and are like ruining the frame. Joe,
You know what? Yeah, frame. You know what's funny to me about the ice thing alone is that anybody with any logical sense would be like, it's going to sound awful on mic. Like even just it clinking in the glass would be like, we're not doing that. And then for them to just give him exactly what he wanted is insane.
Yeah.
That's just hilarious.
So there are a few good moments, but most of it is he's kind of hard to understand. Like the funniest person on the show is hard to understand. George is trying to, it's like low hanging fruit. Every person that got trolled runs to, which is you're a one trick pony. You're not talented. You're not funny. And it's just weak
content.
Yeah, it's just weak clapbacks. But this clip is the one that I called the one that sums up the show for me.
Attention because you're making an ass out of yourself. Yeah. So I know a thing or two about making an ass out of myself to draw attention. You're becoming a mini expert.
But I'm not.
But you're bad at it.
I don't think people think of me as a crazy liar.
You're bad.
Pathetic guy.
You're pathetic.
Where's the next place you're gonna go?
You're
in your
pathetic.
Career?
This is very ironic.
No, I will die a congressman. You have a pathetic accent. You have a pathetic.
That's true. But you will also die the congressman, the worst one ever.
That's not true. Not even
from Congress.
Remotely true.
You
that
were
I
not
was
expelled?
No, I was expelled, but that I was the worst. Not even remotely true.
Even if somebody
so you're saying Jim Crow guys were better than me?
Even a racist liberal or a non-racist liberal, whatever you want to say, somebody I disagree with completely is better than you.
Yeah, that's because you're biased. Because you're a little boy.
What am I biased about? If anything, I'd be biased towards you.
He looks like a Tim Burton character.
Yeah.
So it's basically 40 minutes of that.
Oh my god, that is pretty great though. Yeah.
He looks like he's the lead singer for The Cure.
Yeah. Or the Melvins.
Yeah. Don't bring the Melvins into this.
Yeah, let's
dare you.
badmouth Robert Smith.
Well, I like the Melvins. I don't like The Cure. And
right. That's what I'm saying. Let's just stick with The Cure.
Well, that's Billy McFarland and George Santos.
Don't do what Donnie don't does.
These guys are fuck ups that fucked up, and that's what our show's all about, Christian.
I know that's why the show is so fun, and obviously it's great to get to be here. And if there was only a world where Billy McFarland and George Santos could share a cell, that you want to talk about a live cam that I would subscribe to.
Or even better, what if there was a lifer in there that had to share a cell with each of them separately, and then we could have that guy, maybe a podcast hitman.
It's like the pathetic version of Diddy and Luigi are in the same prison, and it's fucking Billy and George Santos.
Yeah, this is getting weird, everybody.
Yeah,
but weird.
So it's interesting though watching George have Matan on his show, thinking he's like, oh, I'm gonna be able to clap back, as they say, but he just doesn't have it in him. And it goes back to like, he's not a great liar. He just told a bunch of lies, but they weren't convincing, and it got himself into a bunch of trouble.
Yeah.
Usually you tell a lot of lies and you get reelected like 8 times as a congressman.
Yeah, it's like what Carl talks about, like either John or Opie. It's just like, you're not good at this.
Yeah,
like this is not your forte. You're not going to win. Yeah, the internet is not for you.
Oh yeah, he's Ray DeVito, isn't he? Oh
yeah,
I can't believe you said that, Joe. That you called him Ray DeVito. That's awful.
You know that place called the internet where we can fact check everything? Yeah, maybe not for George Santos. It's not where you want to live, where we have like co-pilot on board right now. Yeah, not great. But Andy, we're gonna have to. Those clips should not go to waste for sure. We have to.
Okay,
We'll
yeah.
bring those somewhere. Whether it's on Patreon or Hackamania or wherever.
Yeah.
Well, we know what happened at Hackamania, but we don't have time to talk about it.
Yeah,
Joe.
can't get into all the great times that we had.
Carl made us all sign NDAs, so that's the problem.
Yeah. Chris, we went to that adventure mountain place, and Christian got in a Panzer tank and was chasing the clientele around.
And I destroyed the wrong car. All right.
Yeah.
So,
He drove it out of the parking lot and destroyed real cars. It was insane.
But I loved it.
Do we accept or reject any? I mean, Billy McFarland was more of an update. He's not apologizing for anything. Yeah. George Santos, I don't know. I'd probably give him this.
Super gay.
I mean, this one.
Oops, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
You capping, bro.
Yeah. All right. Well,
you know what? It is refreshing to see somebody, a corrupt individual, not get away with it. We don't see it very often. So
no, we definitely don't. I agree, Joe.
Yeah.
Christian, thank you so much for talking about this with us. Do you have any plugs that you'd like to plug at this time?
Sure. I always want to let people know that they can check out Who Are These Broadcasters, which exists as an audio podcast wherever you find your podcasts. But the real fun is Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, where Eric Zane and I play a bunch of clips and we laugh. He gets angry, sometimes for good reason, but usually not. And we have a lot of fun over there, and I have my own personal podcast, the Bladtcast, Bladtcast, and we're at like 642 episodes. So everybody, you'll find at least one that you enjoy. There's the show's not for everybody, but for everybody, there's one episode that you'll like. So and you can follow me on social media at Christian DMZ.
Yeah, I've watched more than one. Hey, tell Eric Zane to check his fucking DMs.
Oh.
I don't know what.
Are you trying to get him to do a show?
I just want to put the invite out there. Just
he's probably checked it.
You're
not the first person who has said, "How do I get Eric Zane on the show?" I'm like, I have no idea.
I just heard Eric Zane say, "What's a DM?"
He is a grandfather, so that's true.
Whatever. I don't want him on my show. It was a courtesy ask. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna have Christian on for like the third time, and I've never asked Eric.
This is only the second time. Okay. Yeah, no, believe me. I noticed that I'd only been invited once. Yeah,
don't let me keep you then.
But it was great to see you guys, and
thanks for coming.
It's too bad you couldn't have come out to Hackamania, Joe. You missed.
I can't do anything, man.
You missed like 10 different trips to White Castle with Rocco, but that's all right. Next year, maybe, Joe.
Maybe.
And I want to encourage everybody to follow our Instagram account, All Apologies Podcast, as well as the YouTube channel, All Apologies Podcast. We're on the slow crawl to barely being halfway past the goal to be monetized. So do us a favor and support the show free like that. But if you want to support the show financially over on Patreon, we have a $5 or $10 tier. We just this week we'll be doing Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. We've been doing all of the Mission Impossibles, Christian, just like everybody else. Just in time for Final Reckoning to come out.
No, I'm gonna do one show where we talk about all of them. I want to spend like 4 seconds on the second one, which I believe is called Tokyo Drift. I might be getting confused, but I'm pretty sure that MI2 is Tokyo Drift. I like most of those movies.
While we have you, I will ask you then. Yeah. One of our topics is the hottest Mission Impossible woman in the franchise.
Can I give the joke answer and say Carrie Russell?
Yes.
I don't even think that's a joke.
She's great. I do like her in that movie, and I like her.
I think that's a fair response.
God, it's tough. I'm a sucker for Haley Atwell because of her Atwells. I mean, that's literally what it is. And so if I have to pick one, it's definitely her. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Which one is that? I'm bad with names.
She was Peggy Carter in the Avengers movie.
Captain America.
Captain America. Yeah,
girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. So
the woman that swoops in at the end of the franchise.
Yeah, what I always say about Mission Impossible in particular, but Tom Cruise is so amazing. He has this presence on screen because he's one of the most batshit crazy people we've ever seen. He's jumping on Oprah's couch, excited about Joey Potter from Dawson's Creek. We see him doing these laughs at Dianetics events.
His Howard Dean. We're going to watch.
Yeah, and yet you're watching him in a movie like the last Mission Impossible. I was literally making jokes with my buddy that I went with, like, oh, your message, if you choose to accept it, is find David Miscavige's missing wife. And we laughed. 5 minutes into the movie, I can't even think about any of that because I'm like, oh yeah, Ethan Hunt is on the screen.
Yeah.
So those movies are great.
We say it. Yeah. We're just
he is
like,
one
he's
of the last movie stars. I don't know because Clooney's not Clooney anymore. Brad Pitt is close, but he's really the only one. Yeah.
I think I say it every episode. He is the last $20 million opening, a guy that it can open a movie, man. And there's nobody left really. But yep, that's good. Because I always, it's funny you say Haley Atwell. I always go, well, whatever the current one I'm watching.
Yeah, well, she's the
hottest one. Yeah, she's the latest and best one. Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Great. All right, Christian, thank you so much
for
doing this. Everybody check out WATP. Everybody check out WATP Live for Boston Live tickets coming up in June 21st. So for Christian Bladt, for Joe Sixpack, I'm Trucker Andy saying, say sorry.